Gamers, it's time to throw away your monitor because G-Sync HDR has finally arrived. If you've been waiting all this time to finally get a G-Sync HDR monitor, guess what? They're finally here. Behind me, Acer's new X27 4K G-Sync HDR panel. On the left is no slouch either, an XB271HK. That's a 4K 60 Hz IPS panel. That's a great panel normally, but I gotta say, next to this X27 G-Sync HDR panel, it looks like poo. It looks washed out. The colors look downright blah. On the right though, it's a little tough to see in video, of course, because you're not looking at it in HDR. This image pops. There's detail where you should be able to see detail, and the colors just stand out. I mean, you really got to see it side by side, but this looks like a crappy TN panel against this new G-Sync HDR panel. Some of that obviously is the HDR. The panel on the left is probably hitting only 250 nits, maybe. The one on the right is pushing 1,000. To hit that 1,000 nits though, that G-Sync HDR panel is using 384 zones. And that's not all though. Besides the 1,000 nits, the panel on the right will hit 144 Hz overclock or run normally at 120 Hz with G-Sync. It's an IPS panel with quantum dot, and this is crazy. The contrast ratio is 50,000 to 1. And I know you've seen that all the time on televisions and monitors for years, but I gotta say, this looks like super high contrast, not just a sticker on the monitor. For inputs, you get HDMI 2.0 and DisplayPort 1.4. But what you wanna know is when and for how much. The good news, you should be able to buy G-Sync HDR panels as soon as 2 weeks from now from Acer and Asus. The bad news, I don't know how much, but I will say it ain't gonna be free.